And Hong Kong's High Court has granted a temporary injunction banning people from harassing police or disclosing any personal information about police officers and their families.
Anti-government protesters have been doxing police in recent months, posting photos and contact details of officers on social media. Activists have then used this information to directly attack officers.
The court heard that doxing attacks have caused psychological stress to officers and their families, who now fear for their safety. Police said in August that more than 1,600 officers and their family members had been victimized by doxing.
And it's the latest legal move by officials trying to restore order after more than 5 months of protests. CNA's Young Wai Kit looks at Hong Kong authorities' evolving tactics in a bid to end the violence.
Swift. Massive. On some days, it's about taking down protesters in a matter of seconds. On others, it could be this, fending off protesters with weapons like rubber bullets and tear gas. Since June, the battle between police and protesters has been evolving with alarming level of violence. Protesters have resorted to petrol bombs, some even attacking officers at close range. Hong Kong authorities simply have to adapt and improvise to keep up with the escalating violence. Here, near the Wansai MTR station, there are still clear signs that protests have taken place. These empty spaces here, they were previously road railings that were forcefully removed by protesters to build makeshift barricades to keep themselves away from the police. But in late September, at this very spot, police fired one live round, and it is at least one of 10 live rounds fired so far. 2 of these bullets have injured protesters, but police justified their actions, saying that their officers had fired out of self-defense. Now, all these live rounds are one clear indication that the violence is getting lethal. Police have told CNA they'll continue to fire live rounds if the officers felt their lives are in danger. But the authorities are also looking at other countermeasures to quell violence. For instance, court orders. One of them bans people from disrupting air traffic and airport operations. The other prohibits protesters from destroying facilities at MTR stations. More recently, the court banned the setting up of barricades and directing laser pointers at police quarters. Breaking any of these court orders can lead to jail time and fines. Another tactic police hope to make full use of is stepping up of its soft approach by talking directly to the community. They've urged the general public to tip them off to violent protests via newly set up social media platforms like Line and WeChat. They're also giving their enforcement efforts a more personal touch.
Before any large-scale protest, our police community relations officers, what we call the PCROs, will contact the communities concerned and forewarn them about the potential threats that they are going to face in the large-scale protest. We always remind them to shut the windows and stay indoors if necessary.
On a larger scale, Hong Kong government invoked the emergency law to pass the anti-mask ban that prohibits people from covering up their face during any sort of rallies. Although hugely unpopular,